Look down at your keyboard for a second. The letters don't go in order. A, B, C, D. That's not how it's arranged. Instead, you get something strange. Q, W, E, R, T, Y. Now, here's the question most people never ask. Why is it arranged this way? And more importantly, what would actually happen if we changed it? Would typing become faster, more efficient, or would everything completely break? Because here's the catch. The QWERTY layout might not be the best system, but changing it could create a much bigger problem than you expect. To understand what happens if we change QWERTY, we first need to understand why it exists. The layout dates back to the 1800s, during the early days of typewriters. Back then, typing wasn't electronic. Each key was connected to a metal arm that would strike the paper. And there was a problem. If people typed too fast, those metal arms would collide and jam. So engineers designed the keyboard to slow typists down. They spread out commonly used letters so people wouldn't press nearby keys too quickly. And that's how QWERTY was born. Not for speed, but to prevent mechanical failure. Now, here's where things get interesting. There are actually more efficient keyboard layouts. One of the most famous is called Dvorak. It was designed to make typing faster and more comfortable. In Dvorak, the most commonly used letters are placed on the home row, where your fingers naturally rest. This reduces finger movement and increases speed. Studies have shown that people can type faster and with less effort using it. So logically, we should have replaced QWERTY a long time ago, right? Well, not exactly. Let's imagine we suddenly switched the entire world to a new keyboard layout. At first, everything slows down, dramatically. People who type without looking at the keyboard, also known as touch typists, rely heavily on muscle memory. Their fingers know where the keys are without thinking. Change the layout, and that memory becomes useless overnight. Typing speed would drop, productivity would fall, even simple tasks like sending emails would take longer. Now multiply that across millions of people, businesses, and industries. The result? A massive temporary slowdown in global productivity. But the problem isn't just learning a new layout. There are deeper costs. Every computer system, keyboard design, and typing-based workflow is built around QWERTY. Training programs would need to change. Schools would need to teach a new system. Offices would need to retrain employees. Even software shortcuts like Control-C and Control-V are based on current key positions. Changing the layout would disrupt decades of standardization. And that disruption comes with a cost: time, money, and confusion. Here's the biggest reason QWERTY still exists. It's something called the network effect. The more people use something, the more valuable it becomes. Because everyone uses QWERTY, it becomes the universal standard. If you sit at any computer in the world, you already know how to use it. That consistency is incredibly powerful. Even if a better system exists, switching only works if everyone switches together, and that almost never happens. So what actually happens if we change QWERTY? In theory, typing could become faster and more efficient over time. But in reality, the short-term cost is enormous. The learning curve is steep, and the global disruption would outweigh the benefits. That's why QWERTY has survived for over a century, not because it's perfect, but because it's good enough and universally accepted. So the next time you type on your keyboard, remember this: you're using a system designed to slow people down, a layout created for machines that no longer exist. And yet, it's still the standard used by billions of people today. Because sometimes, the best system isn't the one that's most efficient, it's the one that everyone already understands.